Disagreeable Nerd.
Where we talk about movies.
Heyo.
And
Okay, a Disagreeable Nerd crossover.
It's not really
like Superman visiting Batman.
Oh God!
Is that what the VS means? Was it Superman visiting Batman?
Superman visited Batman.
Is that different? It's like they weren't versus each other. They just showed up. We thought the V meant versus. No, it's like he just shows up at the.
I brought a box of wine.
He shows up at the Wayne Manor, like, hey man,
where's the wine?
You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast. You have chosen wisely.
So we're going to talk about photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Barony.
London.
Which one was Barony again?
That one I whooped your butt. This one.
The one we all love so much.
The one that we loved. That we loved.
Literally the only one we played twice.
It's not a new one. It's not a new one. Who's going to do the intro? You going to do the intro?
No, you can do it.
No, you do it. I like you to do it.
Okay. Wait, hold.
Hold.
Why are we holding?
Oh, is he going to be on the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might cut his mic until we focus in on him. There you go. Say something.
Hello.
There you go. That's great.
I'm Gaby.
I'm Joe. Jerry.
Jerry.
I almost said Joe Rogan.
And we also have Enrique in here. He doesn't have a microphone right now.
Enrique's here, but we don't give him a mic because we don't want to really hear. We want to turn his mic on when he has something important to say. This is Jerry, by the way. Did I introduce myself?
Well, you said Joe at first.
I was watching a lot of
the
Joe Rogan show.
Okay. BGS, Board Game Snobs, welcome. Go, Jerry. This is your show to roll with.
Wow.
Am I the host?
Well, no. We're
co-hosting?
You tossed this over at me really fast.
What are we going to talk about today, Jerry?
We just got back from Board Game Snobs, as we were talking about 5 minutes before this.
We got back from Board Game Snobs? Cool. We have a headquarters?
No, we got back. Where did we go?
Board Game Geek?
The con.
Board Game Geek Con, 2017, Dallas, Texas.
Enrique went with us.
He did.
He got pretty far on the poker table.
But he did come in, what did you say, third table?
Yeah, he got in on the third table. Poker.
So does that mean third from the end?
Yeah, I think it's third from... No, he's third in. Third table.
So you got 3 tables in.
3 tables in. I don't know how many tables there were. Maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
We got out on the first table.
I got out immediately. I was the first out on my table.
And I followed you because of the gentleman that was being rather irritating.
What if he's our number 1 fan and we don't know it?
He doesn't know us. There was okay. I'm glad we brought this up. I'm glad you brought this up. What do you do when somebody is acting foolish? You're playing a friendly game, 9 people at the table, everybody's enjoying themselves, except this one person who's acting foolish. Do you call them out or just ignore it?
I guess you probably could have called him out and everyone would have clapped. But in general, I just let him make himself a fool and he can live as an enemy of himself his whole life.
I felt sorry for him, though.
He was the guy, even though everybody had did you see those pins that said, the slash through that guy? Don't be that guy. But he literally kept saying, I hate to be that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, but blah, 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 blah. And he made you very angry.
That was an accurate impersonation, actually.
He did that once while I was there, and then I got out. And then
he proceeded to do it 3 more times when you were gone.
I saw you soon thereafter, and you're like, yeah, you're about to punch him in his face.
Well, I'm not a violent person, but I get violent.
Good thing.
That's how I am.
When do you get violent?
When I drink and when I'm irritated. And fortunately, I do both those things all the time.
Are you always irritated?
Always.
Like the Hulk, you're always angry?
You don't make me angry. You don't have to make me angry. I stay angry. But anyways, at board games...
Why are you so angry?
It's just life. Do you not...
Life makes you angry?
Life makes me angry.
Why?
Just seeing stupid people, and I'm surrounded by stupid people, and life just makes me angry.
That guy through your life makes you angry?
Yes. There's very few things in this world that make me happy, and that is my second wife, and... who also happens...
Which is who?
My first wife as well.
Okay.
She's the same person.
You married her?
Well, you know how it is.
Okay, go.
Things that make me happy.
Okay.
Board games. And
board games and alcohol.
We played a board game that came out this year. New one at BGG. Someone else is going to have to pronounce it because I have a speech impediment and I cannot pronounce
Photosynthesis?
that game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I speak for Enrique too. He thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can speak for Gaby as well, even though he's here. He thoroughly enjoyed it. And he bought it. I can say, however, Bubba didn't like it.
Bubba was not a fan.
Not a fan.
And it broke your heart.
It broke my heart. Because that was the one game he wanted to play.
Like the one, you were saying the game of the con so far, photosynthesis.
Yes, I was singing his praises. He's talked about playing this game. He wanted to play this game. I was excited. I went and played this game previously to learn it, so as to teach it to him and be excited about it, and then watched him sit there, watch the fun drain from his eyes, and him say, "This game reminds me of Sudoku," which I don't.
But see, now that I do not understand.
Well, you have to understand Bubba to understand that his mathematical mind.
Sagrada? Yes, that is Sudoku.
Right.
Photosynthesis? I mean, I just don't get it. I can understand that because this is next to that, you can't do this. I mean, I guess that is kind of Sudoku-ish. But, I mean, no. As you look at all the trees and the planting, but anyway, just go with what you was going with.
Let me tell you about photosynthesis. You're all...
You tell me.
And I'll understand, are you a tree? Are you a tree mother? Or are you a logging company? It doesn't say. I don't remember. All I know is that you go out and you seed trees and they grow. And around the board is this little icon that is the sun. And it wraps around the board and the sun shines down. And if it's shined in the correct space, your tree can grow, get you more points. Photosynthesis points? I can't remember what they're called now.
Sunlight.
You spend sunlight like money to plant more trees, to plant more seeds.
In reality, the game was like, oh, you're planting trees. Oh, loving nature. You get points and win by cutting them rascals down.
Well, that's the logging aspect. And we talked about that. The game does two things. One, it makes you...
On the cover, it should be a dead tree with a lumberjack on the front of it.
Well, photosynthesis sounds a lot better than lumberjack. Harvester of the trees.
Killing trees. Tree killing.
Tree killers.
On the front of the box, it makes you think it's the tree of knowledge from the Garden of Eden.
It's a nice looking tree. You have all these nice trees, and when they grow to fruition, you cut them down for victory points.
Yes.
But interestingly enough, where they're at on the board, when you cut them down, you get the points from that area. And so thus, growing trees closer to the middle of the board, which is very difficult to do, gets you more points. And it forces you to think 2 or 3 turns ahead of time. You have to plot and plant your trees. Because
of the rotation of the sun? Did you say that?
Because of the rotation of the sun.
Yeah, so whatever you're doing on this turn does not earn you points.
No.
It's when you're done... The sun rotates beginning the next turn. That's when you get points.
We probably have confused everybody with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to describe anyway. But basically, you have a seed. You have a level 1 tree, level 2 tree, level 3 tree. The level 3 trees get you level 3 points. I mean, basically in that order. But if you chop it down, you don't get sunlight because your trees get you sunlight. Yeah, okay. I give up. I give up on explaining games because it's impossible to do.
Well, I thought ahead of time to try to explain photosynthesis, and
go.
I can't think of it.
I'll let you handle it.
I don't. It is just an amazing game. It is a light game. It's very particularly easy to learn. There are some advanced rules that makes the game even harder, which we continually played with, and we didn't know we were making the game a lot harder, but we enjoyed it.
You can't grow a tree. You can't grow a tree in the shade,
which is just like in real life. You can't be throwing shade.
But in the basic rules, you can.
What's great about the game is it's so mean because you plant trees and grow trees and they cast shadows and shade onto other people's trees, thus not allowing them to get sunlight and to grow, and it's just mean.
The game is throwing shade.
Throwing shade. That would have been a better name
throwing
for it.
Shade. That would be.
Throwing shade.
Synthesis.
Yeah.
The game is not about... I guess you're producing sunlight, but... Wait. Trees don't produce sunlight. Doesn't even make sense. Those should be oxygen points.
I think that it's...
See, it does thematically.
But it's I'm not even going to go into that. The point is, I love this game. It is a very light game, and I can just wholeheartedly...
I wrote a very brief review that...
I haven't published
if it makes it through Jerry's harsh censoring techniques.
I censor. I'm like Russia.
Maybe it'll be on the site soon. But you're going to have to write down all the details of how it works.
How to actually play it, what the game's about.
Yeah.
Those fine points. All you need to know about photosynthesis is if you were on the bench about buying it, you need to buy it. We really enjoyed it. It was excellent. And I actually look forward to playing again. Photosynthesis, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably the newest game that we played of the con that was probably our favorite.
Yeah. New games, yes.
Yes. Now, we did...
I would say it's in the top 3.
Top 3. Now, speaking of new games and old games, I had a game that I was dying to play at BGG that has been on my wish list since it has come out, and I don't know why I have never played it, called Barony.
Barony. Barren.
There's not two.
Why?
There's not 2 R's.
Barren, like the desert.
It's not. Okay, whatever. Barony. The same guy who made Splendor, which I hate, made Barony. Is that correct?
Correct. Marc-Andre.
Marc-Andre. Mr. Marc-Andre, if you're listening, if you're one of the 12 people who listen to our podcast, well done, sir. Well done. Barony is probably a top 10 game for me.
It has launched itself.
Matter of fact,
from non-existence. Never heard of the game. It's in my top 10.
It's up there. And I think it's because we played it the most of any game at the con. And then when we would separate and go our separate ways and go play other games, we would sneak back and somebody would check it out again and we would play it again. It is a very simple area control game that has a rule book that is grand total of what? 5 pages? It's 4 pages long.
Oh, yeah. It's super thin.
Super thin. You sit out there.
Now, this is the game, though. Okay. I don't know if you're going to go into all this later. We tried to learn Outlive, which is a Kickstarter.
Don't even go there.
And it's this worker placement that we've heard very good things about. Like the best worker placement, amazing, post-apocalyptic, a rule book, very convoluted. Rules didn't really make no sense and having to figure it out. Struggle our way through 1,000 little bitty pieces. And we made it, 3 moves in and quit because it sucked?
Well, okay.
But my point is...
Make your point.
My point is, we have discovered, me and Jerry, and I agree with Jerry...
That's important.
If you have a streamlined rule book, 6 pages max. I really like 1, 2, 3 pages, 3 leaflets of paper. Your rules, if they're on there, that's a good start. And then very clearly defined, a simple game. Those are the kind we like.
Well, I'm not gonna,
because you can have simple rule sets, mechanisms, but within that, lots of strategy. That's what we like.
I'm going to launch off of that. Before I launch off of that, I'm just going to say, if you haven't played Barony, you need to play it. Area control, fabulous. Will never leave my collection. It's awesome. 4 players, up to 4 players.
Yeah.
Modular board, but the board cuts down for less players.
Well, I was about to say, I'd be interested in playing it with less than...
We've always played it with 4 so far. But I'm keeping with what you said about rule books, which gets me to whip out my soapbox. The games that we played that we thoroughly enjoyed, Photosynthesis, Barony, and I look back at other games that we own that have a very small rule book, like Concordia even, and how wonderful they are and how interesting it is to look through a rule book, read it, appreciate how easy it is to... The Godfather. That's a very small rule book, very easy to learn. Now, at BGG, we purchased, or may I say, Enrique purchased, Twilight Imperium, the 4th edition. Took one for the team because Enrique likes big boxes.
For this, Enrique gets a microphone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Enrique, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys?
Okay, Enrique has introduced himself.
Okay, turn his mic back off.
Okay, we're done.
Wow. It's like I just say that.
We're cold here. We're very cold.
Yeah.
The deal is that if you drop $150 on Twilight Imperium, you get to come on the show. You get a little spot. You get a little taste of the glory.
Enrique, thank you for what they call it, sponsoring BGS.
Sometimes I just wonder how I became friends with you two.
You started it. with Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry lured me in.
You make it sound like I drive around in a van, luring people.
That doesn't sound Jerry.
Hey, kids, you want to play? You want to play Shoots and Ladders? You want to play a board game?
Okay, Enrique purchased Twilight Imperium, 4th edition.
4th edition.
Now,
but wait a minute. Before you get off, let me conclude my point. I took the rule book because Enrique doesn't like to learn the rules of games. Took the rule book. I read through Twilight Imperium 4th edition rulebook. Excellent rulebook. Read through it, understood it, felt like it was, and that's what I am tying into all these quality games that we tend to play and that we tend to enjoy.
Twilight Imperium being like the biggest, massive, epic game there is. Has a good rule book.
Good rule book. I don't know about the 3rd edition. Never played the 3rd edition. As a fun fact, we've never played Twilight Imperium. That's why we've
shied away from it.
We've shied away from it because I didn't want to sit around and
We've played all around it.
Played everything else.
Exodus,
Eclipse. Played everything else but Twilight Imperium. The 4th edition drew us in. Excellent rule book. I am looking forward to playing it.
I hope it's good. I want to learn it. I want to play it. What was that game we tried that was supposed to have been Twilight Imperium with knights?
Oh, Warrior Knights?
Warrior Knights, yes.
That is not a good game.
An atrocious game.
I wouldn't say it's atrocious.
Yeah, Bubba kind of liked it. I feel sorry for Bubba sometimes because
we're always ragging on Bubba.
We'll start a game, and Jerry is very quick too. Jerry's more quick than I is. I mean, I'll finish a game. It don't bother me, but Jerry doesn't bother wasting his time. Mm-mm. As the what the tag on the show says, life's too short for mediocre games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it.
Jerry will be okay. For example, we tried Great Western Trail.
Now wait. Are we
going to go into that?
Before we start talking about Great Western Trail.
Okay. Well, let me go back then. So, if we're in a game, Jerry don't like it, he'll ask, "Is anyone else enjoying this?" No. It's okay. We'll just stop. We'll start clearing out the game right then.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what we did with Warrior Knights. I think we made it like 4 rounds.
No, we went in pretty good. Now, the point is on this is that for the most part, I can read a rule book, set up a game, mess around with it, and tell, unless it's a social game, unless it's something bidding or something of that nature, whether or not I'm going to particularly enjoy this game. And kind of, I can read the rule book and kind of know from the mechanics, how is this going to be? And Great Western Trail, since you brought that up, again, we busted that game out at BGG. We had never gotten to play it. It taught me 2 things. Number 1, I am a fan of Mombasa. Now that I have played Great Western Trail, heard many people saying if you like Mombasa, you're going to enjoy the Great Western Trail and vice versa. I did not particularly enjoy the Great Western Trail. I will give it another chance because I think that the setup and the
setup and learning took it out of us.
The setup and learning kind of took it out of us. But going back and looking through the rule book again and kind of going over it, I see why people enjoy it. It's kind of have that not point salad.
Did you go through the rule book again?
I did.
When?
Afterwards. Like downloaded it and looked through it again.
Really?
Just because I wanted to make sure that I felt like
you are a true board game nerd.
I didn't feel like I gave the game a good enough shot because I look back and this is why I'm holding my tongue on the Great Western Trail just yet. I want to play it again because I didn't quite like Mombasa the first time I played it, but it was enough to intrigue me. The Great Western Trail did not blow me away.
But Mombasa, you kept playing.
I kept playing.
You played through the whole thing.
I would give Great Western Trail another try. And I will say that
interesting.
Just because I'm going to go on a limb and say I'm not going to like it, just because it has that feeling of, and me and Bubba talked extensively about this prior. Some games let players get points, and people mistake getting points as strategy, and you can just travel down the road, and you can either pick the cowboy strategy, which from what I understand online and reading about the Great Western Trail, that cowboy strategy, you will win, or you can drive your little train everywhere. There's just too much going on for my taste. But I see how people enjoy that, and I think that they kind of get a lot of...
So Stefan Feld games must frustrate you.
You know, out of all the Stefan Feld games, the only one that I really just quite... The one that I really appreciated was the Castles of Burgundy. And to tell you the truth, I like the card game better than I did the board game.
Wow. You're welcome.
Yes. I enjoyed the card game better than the actual board game.
Because the board game is, yeah.
I didn't like the spatial aspect of it, but I see why some people would do it. But I see why people like Stefan Feld. And if you like a Stefan Feld games, if you like their Alexander Pfisters, then Great Western Trail is going to be all up your alley.
Point salads, as they say.
Point salads. But speaking with rule books and games...
with rule books? You talk to them?
Yes, I do.
Hello, rule book.
Martin Wallace's game, the London remake, a new edition.
We discussed photosynthesis. Yes. Check. Barony. Are we done with that?
Just buy Barony. I don't know what else to say about Barony.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the deal. I'm going to do a written review on Barony because I can't get my thoughts together on it. It is just
it's so awesome.
It's so awesome. It blew my mind. It was so simple and
this
so good.
This is a Barony. Literally. You either move or build.
That's it.
That is the game.
Moving and building.
That is it. You have those two actions to choose from, and that's the whole game.
There's actually 6 total actions.
But within that, it is a
different idea.
I mean, you said you've heard of it. I've never heard that game.
I've heard of it. And the deal is that this is a game that I credit to the Board Game Geek website when people post their top 10s. By the way, I love it when people post their top 10s. If just regular people who throw it on there and say, this is my top 10 favorite games. Because I go through there and I look through there and go, oh, this idiot likes this. Oh, he has such poor taste. But every once in a while,
Joe Bob 31 likes,
and he has Power Grid and all the different iterations of Power Grid. But then amongst those, he'll have something that's like, I like Barony, or I like Gold West. And I see these people who post games that I'm not quite familiar with or I've heard about, and I hear them, they'll put a little blurb about why they love them or why they think them so great. I write those down. I save them on my wish list, and occasionally I play one. Barony has been on my wish list since it has came out. I have watched it, never bought it, never bothered to play it, almost ordered it a dozen times. You ordered it while we were playing it.
I ordered it as we were playing.
We were halfway through the first game, and it's like Amazon Prime. It's on its way. It's done.
Done.
Anyways, Barony. I'm going to stop talking about it. And I'm going to talk about Martin Wallace's...
Barony. Barren.
There is one R.
I-E.
There is one R. There's no... You just stop misspelling. You're irritating me. We're going to talk about...
Much like Abraham's wife.
We're going to stop...
Going biblical.
We're going to start talking about London. Martin Wallace's London.
Martin Wallace, London. Of the Nebula fame?
Martin Wallace. Yes, that Martin Wallace. Let's reference
Toledo.
Let's reference the one game.
The games you know him from,
instead of the other 1,800 train games that he's made.
Oh yeah, Brass, Age of Steam. Did he do Age of Steam or Steam? Or
I can't remember.
Both.
Martin Wallace is a genius, and London just proves it.
Economic genius.
Cards.
Is he an economist? Like, what's his real-time day job? Probably now, I guess, it's board games.
He just sits around and makes train games.
But he had to have been, like, involved in, like, he was an accountant or something.
No. He just woke up. He was
look it up.
Look up Martin Wallace. Have you ever seen a picture of him?
Uh-uh.
You have probably walked by him 100 times. He is the most average-looking individual you'll ever see. But look deep into his brown eyes, and you'll see that is a man. That is a genius. There's only one game of Martin Wallace's I do not like, and that's Hit Z Road, which was the dice game. I thought you kind of liked it. I kind of liked it, but it was not just a knockout, drag-out hit for me. It was just, it was a dice game.
He's been designing games since the 1990s.
Wow, he's old.
Wallace worked for a while, this is off Wikipedia, at Games Workshop.
Oh.
Then started designing games in earnest in the early 1990s. Wow.
What was his first game?
His first DTP. What's that?
DTP.
That's what it says. His first DTP game being Lords of Creation.
Nope. Never heard of it. Either way, London.
Founder and chief designer of Tree Frog.
Oh, that's why. Tree Frog.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
London, which is a reprint of a Martin Wallace game where you are building various areas and buildings and boroughs in the city of London. Beautiful art. Has this interesting mechanic where you, in your hand of cards, your cards are all color-coded. So if you're going to play a brown card, you have to discard a brown card to play a brown card in front of you. Play a blue card, you have to discard a blue card. The cards that you discard are out in this common pile out in the middle. They go away after a certain amount of them get placed out there depending on the number of players. And so thus you can discard a card and then in the next round pick it back up, or your opponent can pick it up. The whole idea of the game is to get, of course, victory points and to get money, which is both very hard. But the cards that you have splayed out in front of you and the cards that you have in your hand count towards your poverty. So every time you manage your city and get money and victory points and whatnot from the cards in front of you, you also gain these anonymous black cubes, which represent poor people. Well, apparently in London, poor people just wreck you. And the more poverty that you have...
Poverty?
It's
Poverty
like
Jones?
Poverty Jones. The more poverty you have at the end of the game, it knocks down your victory points. It's very hard to control.
Poverty Shallow. She was on Survivor.
I have no.
You said Parvati.
Parvati.
It reminded me of my friend Parvati Shallow on Survivor. Sorry, go ahead. Poverty.
Poverty, as in paupers and poor people.
Paupers.
Yes, because paupers are cards in the game.
Like the Big Popper?
I'm Big Papa. When they get in your hands, you can't get rid of them without using that special power. Anyways, London. Loved it.
London, again.
Buy it.
Extremely simple mechanism.
Yes.
Like you said, discard a card, play a card, discard a card.
Very economic.
Pick up cards. That's it.
Never enough money.
It's just... Yeah, all these games that have all these rules, and if you do this, then you do this, and bits and pieces, and da-da-da-da. I mean, there's a few we do enjoy every now and then, like...
Anachrony.
But even at its heart, Anachrony is a simple game. I guess they're all simple, though, once you learn the rules. But Anachrony has 1,000 little pieces to set up. But in general, simple mechanics, deep strategy, tactics, games like London, Barony...
Something new. And let me touch on that for a moment, because there were two things that came out. Number one, you mentioned, what was it, Outlived? Outlived. A lot of little bits and pieces.
Outlive, no D.
Outlive. Excuse me.
Get it straight.
Bunch of little bitty pieces. The setup, of course, on Board Game Geek, it mentions that the setup is messed up. There's some things that you have to do to get the setup.
I'm going for a drink. You're Jerry's partner for now.
Oh, fun. This should be fun.
Introducing Enrique.
You played Outlive with us.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
Thank you for that. And
What?
we're done.
What?
Cut.
No, you like simple, straight answers.
Well, no, it was just Outlived has this. It didn't do anything new.
Like, I understand. It was just... for me, it didn't have enough interactiveness.
There's this neat mechanic where if your workers all have numbers on them, and so the higher the number, the stronger your worker was. And if you move your worker into another area with other players, you can basically accost them, and they have to give you stuff. So if I move my level 5 worker in with your level 4 worker, you have to give me the difference. You have to give me one of your resources. Yeah. You're mugging them. That was the interaction. That's interesting. It's not necessarily a new thing, but that and combining the resources to build things in your base, I just didn't think it was not that great. I was expecting a game that was just not blow me away awesome, and it just was.
And also the board itself was just a flat. Well,
boards are flat.
I'm sorry. All it had was. Where you can only go in two directions to another place. Either you could go to into the woods and...
Yeah, the board kind of wrapped... The locations on the board kind of wrapped around. I just wasn't impressed with it, just overall. And I think it's because it at its heart was a worker placement, and it was not just that
because
great.
Eventually you'll be going to the same places over and over again, and that's not fun.
It just wasn't the great worker placement. Now, another game that you played with me that we both were kind of on, and this was, mind you, we were ragging on some games that were very hot at this particular convention. Portal Games released a game, Alien Artifacts. Now, Alien Artifacts, if you like Portal Games, you probably remember them for great games such as Imperial Settlers and 51st States. Alien Artifacts is plugged to be a 4X card game. You have your board, just like you do in 51st States. You gain certain types of cards and play them on either or side of the board. One side of the board being they're being produced, and the next side, right side of the board being that they have been built. And you can attack each other to a degree. You gain different alien artifact cards that give you other powers. The point being about this game is that it seemed very much like 51st States. And when we were going through the rule book and looking over the game and playing the game, I kept saying, this is 51st States. This is just like 51st States.
And you enjoyed reading the rule book.
It was a good rule book. There was some interesting points to it. But it was a complicated version of basically Imperial Settlers and 51st States. I liked the artwork. I liked everything about it. But I did not want to buy this game for what it had to offer, because to me, I just would rather have played a slightly simpler, more streamlined game with a different theme, which would have been 51st States or Imperial Settlers, depending. Either way, Alien Artifacts, it got saw a lot of people playing it, but it was not something of particular interest to me. It was the same as made me want to play 51st States. But if you love 51st States and you want something with a little more complicated rules and the theme, this is the game for you. I'm not ragging on the game because I think that there is an audience for it. But as for me and mine, 51st States, the master set, is where it's at. We also played Unearthed, the dice game. Remember that?
Yes.
The last day.
That was actually really good.
Gaby didn't play that with us because you left. Yeah. You went back to your family.
I've heard about Unearthed. I've been wanting to play it, but
all right. I don't know who made Unearthed, but I'm going to call them out and tell them right now. You did some good. You did some good stuff.
It was it was a simple game.
Number one, I hate dice games. If you have
dice
a game,
placement,
I did.
Is that what it is?
Yep,
it's dice. Okay, so here's the thing. Very nice little bitty art everywhere. You have these big tarot-sized cards out in front of you. In the top corner is
tarot-sized cards, meaning slightly bigger than normal.
Fat cards.
Okay.
Up in the corner, you have a number. That's how many the dice on that card.
Left corner or right corner?
It's the left corner.
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect left.
I did too. One of these days, I'm going to mess with somebody to put my victory point markers on the right.
I'm looking to the left. I don't see nothing. There it is over on the right.
I just want to watch the world burn.
What fool would do that?
Make people discard cards face down. I'm not going to call them. Another thing. The guy that taught us Great Western Trail, he kept referring to victory points as Veeps. Bless your heart, sir.
Veep is the vice president, if anything. If you're going to make Veep a word, it's the vice president.
I want to know right now. Did he just make that up? Or is that a thing? Are we the only people that don't call him victory?
Is that a BGG thing? Because he was a BGG alum.
He was an old timer. Do old timers call him Veeps? I want to know. Send us an email, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Now, speaking of which, if anyone other than us and our mothers are listening, send us an email. I'm just curious if anyone is listening. boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Usually you two are good at that.
boardgamesnobs on Twitter.
I'm going to turn your mic off.
What'd he say?
He's over here throwing shade.
What'd he say?
Cut his mic.
You're all. And you're out.
Yeah.
What did he say?
To the green room with you.
Okay.
Here at the studio. Board Game
BGS Studios.
Live from BGS Studios 1. I like it when they number things like your car. You have a name in your car.
BGS Studios number 1. 1A.
1A, yeah. Because 1B
is
occupied.
The kitchen.
Oh, we're so poor. What was I saying?
Where were we?
Unearthed. The designers of Unearthed. So you roll your dice. And
dice placement. Is it dice and cards?
Yes, but you have 5 dice. You have 3 D6s, a D8, and are you ready for this? You ready for this?
Dun, 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 dun.
A D4. The little triangles.
Get out.
No.
Leave.
No.
I hate those things.
I hate them too. But the thing
Pyramids.
is, so you roll your dice.
That's the Illuminati.
You roll a dice. You place a dice on one of the cards out in the middle that you want. You declare that ahead of time. When all the dice on that card match the number in the upper left hand corner.
Hold on. So literally, you're explaining this to me. I've never played it. So you have cards on the table.
Right.
Are they in particular order? What are they?
No, you just throw them out there.
How many?
5 or 6. I don't know. Just how many people playing. There's a bunch of them.
So you randomly throw out 5 cards.
I don't know. 4 or 5.
A minute ago you said 5 or 6.
I don't recall.
Is it okay? We'll say 4 to 6 cards.
There you go.
You randomly throw out 4 to 6 cards.
Randomly. Just make it rain.
It is random?
Random.
Okay. You throw out 4 to 6 cards on the table. So that's a common
That's where we're going. That's what we're trying to compete for.
Okay.
And then I say, I'm going to roll a dice for that.
Are they
card.
numbered?
The victory point things in the top are the only things numbered.
The top left, you say.
Okay.
What are the victory points?
They're like 13, 9, 15. These types of numbers.
Do they have limits, maximums, and minimums?
Not prime numbers.
No prime numbers? What's up with that?
I don't understand.
That is Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
No maximum, no minimum?
I don't. Oh, look, let me explain.
Sounds like you don't know much about this game.
You're asking questions I don't understand. What do you mean maximum?
I'm coming at you as a person that does not know anything about this game other than the box art I've seen, which looks like you're in a cave.
Okay, so you're trying to dig and find things. And these cards out here are basically set collection. They're different colors. And in the top, they have a number on them. Say 13. So I'm saying I'm going to...
Is there pictures on the cards?
Yes, they're very beautiful.
Okay.
And they're of rock formations.
So it's specific. So you're trying to collect rock formation set.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to roll a dice for this card. I then pick one of my dice, either a D6, D8, D4. I roll said dice and I place it on there. And so we continue doing this out on any of the cards that you choose until the dice that are on that card add up to the number in the top left corner. So say we have 4 or 5 dice. And
as a collective group. So
all of our dice on this card add up to 13. This card is now scored. Now, the person who has the highest numbered, you can have one dice out there and it be the highest number.
So if you rolled your D8, got an 8, and a person has...
You're it. That's it.
4 4s.
It doesn't matter.
You still win.
If you have the biggest dice and the biggest number out there, that's it. So the biggest number. So if I have an 8 on my D8, that's my card. I take that card, and everybody who has their dice on that card get a little helper card. They're called delvers, I believe. They're basically your workers.
Delve.
Because they delve down into the little
spelunkers.
The little splunky looking guys are really cute. You take those cards, they have a little special ability that you say, I play this, and it adjusts my dice roll. Anyway, so you take that, and then you get if you had 3 dice on there and you didn't win, you get 3 delver cards.
Okay.
You do set collection, and another thing, so just mind you that D8 dice is to screw people over. Basically, that's if you roll a D8,
it's hard to beat it.
It's hard to beat. And so you're strategically stealing cards from each other and setting up and making sets, and you can see what your opponent has. If you roll low, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you get to take a little stone hexagon. And out in front of you, you're taking these little you're building this little hexagon with these stones, and they're different colors, and when you match that pattern, you get the appropriate card of that match pattern, and that gives you more victory points. So even if you roll low, you get something.
Roll low.
And if you win a card, you get something. If you don't win a card, you get something. I thought it was very interesting how they balanced the game out that way. No matter what you roll, even if you roll bad, you're going to get something. You're going to be able to get some sort of advantage. So even if you continually roll, they basically took a dice game and they took a lot of the randomness and a lot of the luck out of the game. And I don't like dice games. I enjoyed Unearthed, and that amazed me. I don't think I would buy it. I was like, I'm not aching to play it again. But if someone were to purchase it and say, I want to play this dice game, I would not be offended by it. It would not.
So it's basically a trick-taking game.
Yes, with dice and some different other powers and some spatial aspects to it. I just enjoyed it. It's delightful. And the rule book was well written. I think this was a Kickstarter, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I don't know who the publisher was.
It's out now.
Yeah, but it was a great game. And if you designed this game, well done, sir. I did not note your name.
You like it, Enrique?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good game for me because, like what Jerry said, it took out the luck, the randomness out of the game, of where it did give you an advantage, even if the little hexagons on the cards, if they were all out, but you still had dice on there. Let's say that I rolled a couple of 4s and 3s, and Jerry decided to roll on the card of where I had my dice at, and he rolled something bigger and added it up to the top left requirement of it. Sometimes I just wonder why you brought me on this.
We didn't bring you. Why are you talking? Because Mike.
Okay.
That's enough.
Thought I gave him a chance.
I thought you was back in the green room. Go back to the green room.
But you did like it.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Close the door. Okay. Before we left for BGG Con,
yes,
we played one of the best Euros of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sad to say
that I bought.
That you bought it. And I'm sad to say that I was against it. I'm also sad to say that it sat on the shelf for since the day it came out.
I like to have something to look forward to.
Perhaps you've heard a few months ago, if you remember, a game called Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Oh, hot game.
Everybody loved it.
6 months ago.
6 months ago. Perhaps you've probably played it with your friends and family now. We just played it. It's the best Euro I've played all year. It is. I have a set few of fine Euros, such as Viticulture, Concordia, ones of that nature that I
Barony.
Is
Barony considered Euro?
No.
Just because it's worker
area control?
Area control. And it's not like economic. What is a Euro?
It's a pretentious game with a lot of wooden bits, and that same goofy artwork that's on Agricola. That's like the weird people with the round heads. That artwork. That's what Euro is. And it has to have some very convoluted rules. And it has to be based out of England or Italy. Or Italy.
It doesn't get much more Euro there than Lorenzo.
And you can't do
Il Magnifico.
And you can't in any way interact with the other players. And anyway, short of just getting in their way. I'm standing where you want to be.
I went where you want to go.
And, oh, dare you.
Interaction done.
Interaction. You touched me.
I wanted that spot. You took it from me. Oh, well.
Lorenzo El Magnifico was the best Euro I've played all year.
It's very good. And again, it appears somewhat daunting upon first looking at the board, but very simple game.
Okay, I hate dice placement. And Lorenzo El Magnifico is not a dice placement.
Why do you hate dice placement?
Because I don't like rolling stuff.
You don't like fun?
Rolling dice gives me anxiety.
You don't like King of Tokyo?
Nope. No, you just don't like I don't like it.
You don't like King of Tokyo?
I don't like King of Tokyo.
That hurts my feelings.
Well, that's okay.
Do you like Alien Frontiers?
You know the answer to that. Speaking of Lorenzo El Magnifico, it was a dice. It's not a dice placement. You roll the dice to determine the value of your workers, and then you place those said workers. I like that mechanic a lot better than dice placement. It fools you, but at its heart, it is a dice placement game.
In essence, yes.
And it's
just that the workers represent the dice.
Very hard economically. Economically? Is that a word?
Economically?
Economically. No, ecumenically is, and strangely enough, it is an ecumenically.
Ergonomically, that's it.
It's about religion. You have to please the Pope. And if you don't please the Pope will get you.
But that wasn't really an issue.
With the Pope?
Because none of us ignored the Pope.
No, you don't ignore the Pope. He'll roll up on you in the Pope wagon.
Yeah.
And excommunicate you. But in the game of El Magnifico, Lorenzo, I said that backwards.
The great Lorenzo.
The great Lorenzo. I always wonder, it's Lorenzo, the El Magnifico, the Magnificent.
Who is Lorenzo? Is he a real person?
He was the guy on Training Day, wasn't he? I don't know.
Never seen it. Don't know.
I don't know.
Lorenzo has to be a real person. I guess it's probably in the rules.
You should probably look that up.
If I just read it. You read the rules, so I don't know.
You read the rules, forgot said rules, and then I had to learn the rules.
I got the gist of it.
You don't get the gist of anything.
I read the rules, get the gist of it, hand it off to Jerry.
Whatever. Needless to say, love it. Absolutely love it. It is tight and elegant and magnificent.
Okay. Lorenzo, good game. Barony, good game.
Great game.
Great Western Trail, TBD.
Yeah.
But we're going to say it's just a lot for not much.
I'm going to play it again. London's good. Photosynthesis is good.
London, photosynthesis. Okay. Mrs. Outlived
Alien,
which is a Kickstarter. It's not even in, you can't even get it.
Yeah. So, there you go.
So, Outlive, miss.
Alien Artifacts was a miss for me, but it may be, if you take a closer look at it, if you like 51st States and want something a little bit more complicated, and you really like a lot of cards, but it was a miss for me.
I didn't play that one, but generally I agree with you.
Yes. Yeah, so we had several games that were misses, things that were particularly exciting to us. I will say I played the new Queens game that has not come out yet. I don't think Pioneers. I played that an awful lot there just because I got into a brief tournament of it. Pioneers, I'm sick of it. I've played it so many times. I'm sick of it. Pioneers.
Is it a worker placement?
It's a worker game where you're running your own stagecoach, and you put your meeples in the stagecoach, and they represent certain people like bankers and bartenders and sheriffs and things of that nature. And you do this pseudo ticket to ride thing on the board where you move here and place that worker and take its special action in an attempt to empty your stagecoach. It's decent. It's very decent. If you have, I would say it's so light that I would put it a step up above Ticket to Ride. And it's probably something that if you have kids and you enjoyed that and they're like Ticket to Ride, really enjoy that, this is probably something nice. You'll probably enjoy this. It's very light. Rules were particularly easy, but it didn't engage me. Wasn't very exciting. There wasn't that big of a strategy to it. I never had to really think about what I was doing. But it was light and it was decent. It's Queen's Game. It has that same weird art on the box and the same kind of bland components.
I think I registered or added BG stats to my game, about 20 games. The first one we sat down and played is demo. Battle for Rokugan, something similar to Legend of Five Rings.
The Fantasy Flight samurai game that is not out yet. That was kind of a miss for us a little bit, wasn't it? It's one we didn't demo it, but for 3 rounds. But it had the real. It took a lot of the negotiating out of Game of Thrones, and just put the token placement on the board, and you just attack.
Yeah, it's kind of like a super streamlined, not near as good version of Shogun.
Without the cubes. Some people are going to like it. The artwork was interesting.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was not. It was mediocre.
It didn't blow me away.
The Expanse.
Let me say this about The Expanse. I know y'all didn't like it, but for all you out there, I'm not going to give my opinion on the game because it will just start a fight. But The Expanse, it was explained to us as being Twilight Struggle with 4 players. If you like Twilight Struggle and you want to play a game that has some very cheap-looking components and clip art that is Twilight Struggle with 4 people, this is your game.
If you enjoy playing cards that enables you to move cubes around, you'll love this game. I do not, and I did not enjoy the game. And I love the TV show The Expanse. It has nothing to do with the TV show. Nothing. They just themed it that way. I hate that stuff.
But Twilight Struggle.
Just like The Godfather. Has nothing to do with the Godfather movie. They just use the theme to put something on the box to make people buy it.
But Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle is a big game. I get it, but yet I don't get it because I don't care for it.
If you like Twilight Struggle and you always wanted to play it.
Did you like Twilight Struggle?
I enjoy an occasional Twilight Struggle.
Did you enjoy The Expanse?
I enjoy an occasional fight in the middle of the night.
Did you enjoy The Expanse?
I enjoy looking out upon The Expanse and fighting with people at night. Struggling.
Did you enjoy The Expanse board game?
I did not.
There, that's all I need to know.
But I will say, when I played it, I understood that people who like Twilight Struggle, because that is how this is exactly what the main mechanic is, they will like this game. And I don't know why it wasn't advertised as being a reskin of Twilight Struggle with 4 players. If you like The Expanse and you like Twilight Struggle, you must buy this game.
Okay.
If you don't like those things, never mind. Even if you're a fan. Okay.
What is that? The 13 days? You're Twilight
dead.
Struggle Light?
You're dead to me.
Twilight Struggle Light, 13 days. You liked it?
I did.
I didn't much care for it.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Oh.
Other games that me and Jerry don't agree on.
Go ahead.
Islebound. If you enjoy the town part of Near and Far, Islebound's for you. I enjoy that part. I enjoy gathering this stuff up and building something. That's Islebound with ships. Jerry learned it, played around, and lied to the poor fella that did all this work for us and said he had some game to be at 12:30, and it was like, yeah, you lied straight up. Yeah, that game.
Okay, I didn't lie.
It was kind of boring.
Who are you?
No, I enjoyed Islebound.
I got up and left and got a drink.
It's a beautiful game. Ryan Lockett.
It made me want to drink.
I loved it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But I have told you all along, this is what me and you disagree about on Near and Far, is the whole town part, gathering resources, pitching our tents, etc. I enjoy that part. Jerry does not. So therefore, Islebound is literally all that. No story, nothing. Just the gathering resources and set and sail.
I agree. It's everything good about Near and Far sucked out and just the bland, light mechanics that everybody struggles through to get to the story.
You struggle through. I enjoy the mechanics in Near and Far. Enrique enjoys the story of Near and Far.
And me and Enrique agree that the story is what makes
the story. I as well love the story,
and
but I also enjoy just the general mechanics of gathering resources, action selection, worker placement.
So to summarize, if you're an ingrate and you enjoy doing mundane tasks and packing things, you will love Islebound.
Okay. Spiel des Jahres nominee.
I'll fight you for it.
Me and Jerry disagree.
What?
Islebound. I like it. Jerry does not. Quest for El Dorado. A Spiel des Jahres nominee. For Spiel des Jahres being family games.
Now, I will say this. It is a good... If I wanted to make a game for kids, for a 10-year-old kid to learn deck building and hand management and to have a racing game, this is a decent game. I will never play this game again. I didn't particularly enjoy it. But for its audience, this is a good game. And so for all you out there that this is what you're looking for, it was good. It was a good racing game. I really enjoyed. I think that is...
very basic.
I can play a game and not like it and think to myself, I don't want to buy this, but see the target audience.
I can understand why.
This was a decent game.
Enrique, did you like it?
It was all right.
Okay, that's it.
There you go.
Next.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Enrique. Thanks for joining.
You always do this.
Downforce.
Downforce. Now, I've been looking to play Downforce.
The card game version of Formula D.
Formula D.
Oh, that's right. It is Formula D. Why am I saying day?
Because it used to be called Day, and then we turned it into D right. Because we're Americans and we don't do the day, we do the D. America. Downforce.
I really liked it. Now, I wouldn't go out and buy it, but I enjoyed the gameplay because you get all the cards and you don't just move your car. You don't have a car. Well, I guess you do. Yeah, you do. If you bid on it. Okay, it's not to get into convoluted rules, but you can bid on a driver. If you win that driver, you want him to win the game. But you may go through the whole race without being invested in a driver, right? Mm-hmm. But you can bet on drivers throughout the game.
I played Downforce. And the entire time I played Downforce, I thought to myself, I want to be playing Camel Up. Or Camel Cup. I don't know what it's called.
Camel Up.
I like Camel Up.
Either way,
I would rather have played Camel Up. And that is
I'm with you there.
That is my suggestion.
Well, you have just swayed me with those few words. You have just swayed me.
And you know why? Camel Up, we own.
Yes.
And it wasn't a Spiel des Jahres something?
I think it won. It won 2014. Booyah. Camel Cup, silly, great fun.
Love the
2014. Got 3 years already. Jeez.
Love the pyramid. Speaking of pyramids, oh yeah, we finally Bubba dying. The other game Bubba's been dying to play. Imhotep.
Oh, I don't have it on here. I forgot to log that one.
You didn't log Imhotep.
Who won?
Bubba.
We'll never know.
I think Bubba clinched it.
I forgot about Imhotep. Go ahead.
I liked it a lot. I didn't think I'd like it. I enjoyed the whole moving. It's just moving cubes around, but it is very strategic in the thinking. And are you going to take this action and place a cube onto this boat, or are you going to move a boat and screw over and make cubes go where you want them to go? Screw other people over.
It reminds me of a game that I cannot think of it right now. So why did I even bother saying that just now?
Imhotep.
Enrique, did you like Imhotep?
It was good.
Okay, that's enough. Jerry, what else you got?
Let's see. Imhotep was good. We played.
I feel bad. Okay,
we
Enrique.
Played, me and Enrique played the Devier game Michael Strogoff, which was based on the Jules Verne book, where you're the Russian courier. I have not gotten to read the book. I forget about it. I remember briefly going through it many moons ago.
Books about Russian couriers sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing. Actually, I've got it ordered. I'm going to read that book because the game was actually pretty good.
Is it sci-fi?
Russia is a place. It's not.
It's just straight. Well, Jules Verne, writer of Leagues Beneath the Sea.
Leagues Beneath the Sea.
I don't remember exactly how many leagues. How many leagues is it?
50 Leagues of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey of Leagues Beneath the Sea.
Oh, God.
How many leagues is it?
20,000.
20,000.
Oh, my God. By the way, Nemo's War is really good. But this game,
Jules Verne, Journey to the Center of the Earth,
which is good.
Okay,
right,
so suddenly he writes about a Russian courier.
Yes, and it's not
a Russian mailman.
The Russian mailman, not the postman, not Kevin Costner.
Wow.
I won't go into the game, but let me just say this: if you're a solo player, you've probably played The Last Expedition. Just mark it off. Just mark it off.
I just bought it.
Mark off the Lost Expedition and buy this.
What's the name of it?
Mikhail Strogoff.
It's spelled Michael.
Whatever.
Mikhail's like Mikhail.
It's Michael Strogoff. It's good. It's really good, and it's the same mechanics of the Lost Expedition, but can be played with multiple people. And it was just a nice game, very nice. Enrique, what do you think?
It was good. When we were playing, there are some penalties in the game where it kind of screws you over of getting to the location that you're going to. And it's actually very early in the game, if I'm remembering right, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
And, well, it screwed me over really bad.
That was
really, really bad.
You take penalties, and it's the same thing. It's the same mechanic that's in the Grizzled, where you can only have a certain amount of symbols out there of dangers, and if you do, you have to suffer a penalty. But anyways, it combined what few things I liked about the Lost Expedition and all the things I loved about the Grizzled, and put it into a game.
Is it out?
Yes, it very much is.
I can purchase it?
You can purchase it on Cool Stuff.
How much?
$20. Something.
Really?
Yeah, $20. It's good.
Done.
Anyway.
I have Lost Expedition, and you're telling me I need to get rid of it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Okay.
Anyways, that's going to be enough for today. We thank you. We'll post more about our Board Game Geek Convention.
Michael Strogoff.
Our Board Game Geek Convention adventures.
It's not pulling nothing up.
Please follow us on the Twitter.
Russian courier.
And on the Facebook. And on the website if we ever post anything there again. Or listen to our other podcasts. What is our other podcast
Disagreeable Nerd.
Where we talk about movies.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. And
can I post this on there too?
I don't care.
Okay. A Disagreeable Nerd crossover.
Oh. It's not really
like Superman visiting Batman.
Oh, God.
Is that what the VS means? Was it Superman visiting Batman?
Superman visited Batman.
Is that different? It's like they weren't versus each other. They just showed up. We thought the V meant versus. No, it's like he just shows up at the...
I brought a box of wine.
He shows up at the Wayne Manor like, hey, man.
Where's the wine?
You listen to Board Game Snobs. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Please visit us at boardgamesnobs.com and on Instagram.